Welcome to version 1 Scrum Master training. Log in into version 1 with your username and password. As a Scrum Master, you will be responsible for some portfolio items. To be able to filter those portfolio items, get them into focus, you will need to filter. To filter, you will pull down this, select portfolio item, and start typing what you need to focus on. Also ensure you have selected Show Closed Items. This view may be looking slightly different because there are more number of columns here. To be able to customize this view, you will need to click on the settings icon, get into customize, and select whatever fields you need to see. Once you have made your selections, save this. You will see those changes over here. This is a good view to monitor all the stories in a particular portfolio item that you are responsible for. How and where to add stories and tasks. Select the portfolio item where you want to make the addition. There are multiple stories, features, and milestones under a portfolio item called initiative. So under which initiative you want to add, you need to make that selection. So suppose if I want to add under BSSC enhancement 1718, I will open this separately. I have 27 portfolio items, 13 stories. So if you want to maintain a hierarchy, you need to make a selection. Suppose I want to add something under release 6. I will open release 6. This is again a portfolio item. Under this, there are already 15 stories and 12 defects. So there I can make a choice and add a story at a particular place. While adding, you can add the story as an inline item, or you can add it separately where a separate box or a window would open and you can fill in the details. To be able to make the entry as an inline, you need to ensure whatever is required for a story as mandatory item is available in this list. If it is not available, you can go into the settings, customize, and add those mandatory line items out here. So if you have those mandatory items, you can add multiple stories very quickly from here. You can add tasks only to a story. So if you open a particular story, you can see you can add a task and a test. Similarly, for a task, you can add it as an inline, or you can add it as a separate window. Again, to be able to add as an inline, you need to ensure all the mandatory columns are available as part of your inline table. So there are two here, type and the name. So if you have those two, you can go ahead and add as many tasks or tests as you want. This is for test. Similarly, you can do for task. So this is how you need to ensure where in the hierarchy of portfolio items do you want to add a story or a task below a story. how to manage a sprint call for a particular team. For that, we use a team room. Team room would generally be available to you under your My Home if you're part of a team room. If you're part of a team room, click on that particular team room. In a team room, you will see multiple sections. First and foremost, you will see the names of those people who are part of this team, the current sprint which is active, the sprint burn down, some details about velocity and the total points, all the stories which are aligned under this particular sprint, and the details. You may not see all the details, so to be able to see that, you will have to get into customize your view according to your comfort, and save that view. This view is the list view. It shows all the stories, the owner status, the backlog group, the estimated points, the to-do points and the done points against it, created by whom, planning level, portfolio item, and the sprint. And if you open it, you will find the tasks, defects, and tests under it. So this view gives you a complete view of all the items that you need to finish during the sprint. You can get more visual views as well for 15-minute sprint days. So 15-minute sprint calls, you can go into storyboard, which you can go into this view and see the stories by their statuses. If you want to update the status, all you have to simply do is pick and drop in that bucket and the status will automatically get updated. This is the story view. You can get into the task view in a task board. So this is the story. These are the tasks under it with various statuses. Again, drag and drop into a certain bucket to update the status. You can also view the tasks assigned to a particular user by simply typing his name here and making the selection. So only those tasks would be highlighted which is of that particular user, and you can actually take an update from a particular user for the entire sprint and then move to the next user and so on and so forth. Similarly, you can see a test board. So all the tests that is to be conducted during the sprint, bifurcated by story and their statuses. Again, drag and drop to update. So these are the 4 basic views that you can see. There's a backlog view that you can work on. The backlog view is a additional view to whatever is available here. You can actually see any view, story, task, test, and list view, and the backlog view here. You can actually see during the sprint or at the start of the sprint if the backlog is already created and posted in a sprint future of this particular sprint. Then you can actually prioritize by moving that particular story in this sprint or moving it out of this particular sprint. So if you want to move something from backlog to here, this is how you do it. If you want to move it back out of the sprint, you can actually move it out of the sprint into a future backlog. And this is by sprints. So currently 52 is running, 53, 54, and so on and so forth. You can also align it between the sprints. So this is the entire backlog which is to be done. If you want to add a certain story, you can add it from here. Click on story or a defect, you can add it from here. At an individual story level, you can have conversations and activities. At the sprint level, you can have it here. So this is the activity stream for all the stories in this particular sprint. All the stories, all the tasks, all the tests, any changes made to any of these are captured here. In conversation, at an individual story level, you can see the conversation for a particular story, but at a sprint level, you can see all the conversations which is for this particular story, task, defect, test, whatever. And continue by clicking on here and moving the conversation by making some more comments in here. So this is the way you can manage a sprint call from a team view. Making additions to the team can be done from the settings. You can change the membership, you can add new members, you can remove members who have already exited the team, and so on and so forth. So this is a good place to manage your team in a particular sprint and handle your sprint calls. This also gives you a quick view of your burn down chart. If you click on here, you will be able to see burn down chart for any combination. Earlier sprints, future sprints, different teams, different backlog groups. Once you have made these selections, you simply say go and you will be able to see the burn down chart. You can take a PDF copy out of it. You can take a print. So this is a good way of managing a sprint call or a sprint planning call. Thank you.